Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching. We're in Rotorua, New Zealand, the land of the Tall Blacks. This is the start of the third window of the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 qualifiers. We're in the Asia region, and you can see the lineup here in this group. This is Group A. Of course, New Zealand have already booked their place in the second round. Hong Kong coming into this game without a win in their four qualifiers. But guess what? Where there's hope, there's life. And this Hong Kong team could win a couple of games and hope other results go their way, particularly with Korea, and they could still progress. So even though you would say it would be unlikely that Hong Kong would move on, they do still have a chance. This is an exciting time in international basketball with games being played all over the world. And right now, we're starting off this third window here in New Zealand.
Number 55, Lee Kim Wong. And number 88, Lau Ji Lai. The coach of Hong Kong, On Hing King.
So the teams are being introduced here to the crowd, and it is a big moment, certainly for all of the players when they put on the national team shirts, but especially those that are making their debuts in the World Cup qualifiers, the likes of Jack Salt, for example, who is still a student in America, goes to UVA, University of Virginia, plays for the Wahoos. And they were the number one ranked team in the country for much of last year. Of course, Shea Illy is well known in basketball circles in Asia, having played so well last year at the FIBA Asia Cup and made the all-tournament team as a very young New Zealand team. Went and had a surprising strong run, making it to the semifinals.
And number 42,
of course, it was all about getting experience. You see Prooster there. He will be looking to make his debut. Isaac Fotu, number 42, one of the best bigs, you have to say, in Asian basketball. And Paul Henare, the coach, is certainly happy that he has Fotu and a lot of good young players in that team. This is a team that really does believe it's going to make it to the 32-team World Cup. Now we're going to have a pause for the playing of the national anthems. Okay, the national anthems have been played for both Hong Kong and New Zealand, and we're just minutes away from the start of this game. Of course, if you look back and you remember the first meeting between these two teams back in February, things did not go well
Accompanying
for
them is
Hong
the
Kong.
Rotorua Boys High School.
Excuse me, back in November. That was a game that was won by New Zealand 133-74 in the Southorn Stadium. Now we're going to have the famous haka by New Zealand. So the traditional war dance, the haka here by New Zealand, and it's slightly different, certainly from the versions that I've seen, by actually having the Maoris alongside them in the traditional Maori dress. But it's always interesting and certainly captivating, and you just wonder what goes through the minds of the opponents as they see that. The referees today from the Philippines, we've got two Filipino referees, Garcia and Yante, and Higashi from Japan. So as you look at the Hong Kong lineup, Coach Hing King-on, his team is going to come out, and he knows that it's going to be a big ask for them to get something going. But Lee certainly is going to be an important player. Lee Key, their number 7, their shooting guard. Tsai, number 4, small forward. Fong has had some good moments, power forward. And for New Zealand, it's been an outstanding three-point shooting team in these World Cup qualifiers. And we'll see the veterans Abercrombie, and you'll also see Lowe, the veteran. We talked about Fotu and Salt. Brewster, interesting to see. Well, I'm sure he'll get some minutes today. Natai has been important. Their starting 5 will be Shea Illy, Ruben Tarangi, of course, very talented. Salt comes into the starting lineup, Abercrombie and Isaac Fotu. So big moment for Jack Salt. When he left, I think it's safe to say he was a boy. He left New Zealand, went to America, and has really thrived in the American collegiate system, the NCAA, playing at University of Virginia in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and plays for Tony Bennett there. So now he comes back to start. There's Hing King-on, the head coach of Hong Kong, and he knows what this game is all about. I mean, this would be a giant killing for their team. They're going to come out and just try to execute their game plan. Paul Henare, they know that every win is priceless, and they need to go out and be professional about this and try to put this Hong Kong team away early as they go after an important win. Every win will carry over from the first round to the second round. So they can ill afford to take their foot off the pedal. They need to come out and be even ruthless and try to really get on top of this Hong Kong team early to remove any doubt about which way this game is going. Of course, next up after this game for New Zealand will be another big one, and that will be against China, and that game will be played in Auckland. So also on the North Island. Got 2 islands in New Zealand. We're on the North Island here in Rotorua. Usually a spot when you have the backpackers that go to New Zealand. They always tend to stop when they're heading south in Rotorua. And, well, if they stop today, they might have a chance to see some basketball. It's the main event. So you see Wong out there, the low fives, and considerable size difference here for New Zealand. But again, this is a very good three-point shooting national team. And Jack Salt, again, literally takes center stage as the center. He will be jumping center to start things off. And he'll go up against Wong. Well, hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, we are in New Zealand. This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifier between the Tall Blacks, New Zealand, and Hong Kong. And immediately, the ball gets inside to Fotu, and he scores that little jump hook. Plays professionally, has been playing professionally in Germany. He started out his career playing in Spain after playing for Hawaii. He played in the NCAA with the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Fotu gets down to the ground, picks it up, gets it to Shea Illy. Had a tryout with the Dallas Mavericks, or just went to one of their camps. There's Illy, puts up the long jumper, and flying in for the rebound is Hong Kong, and then a foul has been called, so Illy misses with his first shot from deep.
Get a hands foul called on number 42 for the Melbourne Tall Blacks. I think Fotu, his first personal foul.
Here's Hanari, played on that famous New Zealand team. Now the coach, he played for the New Zealanders when they made it to the semifinals of the FIBA Basketball World Cup 16 years ago in Indianapolis. And the long one from number 4, Tsai, was clanged off the rim, fell to New Zealand. Also, one of his assistant coaches, Pero Cameron, played in that team. There's Abercrombie, goes up and gets the foul. And Coach On is already looks of concern over there from the bench. He knows it's not necessarily a good start that his team needs. His team needs a great game, 40 minutes. Need to come out and play their absolute best basketball to have a chance to beat this New Zealand team. And Abercrombie misses his first one. There's Hanari. So his assistant coach, Pero Cameron, in this national team, was one of the real stars of that World Cup back in 2002, and last year went into the FIBA Basketball Hall of Fame. Hong Kong beats the pressure. Now the cut inside, and Fong misses, and Salt grabs one of the many rebounds he will get today, presumably. Abercrombie puts up the jumper, and the three-pointer is good. And already, Abercrombie and New Zealand on top 6-0. Ruben Tarangi reaches in and commits the foul. Abercrombie, one of the more experienced Tall Blacks, played at a couple of World Cups already, played in Turkey, played last time in Spain in 2014. And that three-pointer from Wong was way off. It was long. Wong was long. And now back to New Zealand. Abercrombie for 3. And you see the Tall Blacks, they're not going to be shy about putting up those long ones. Neither Webster brother was available in this window. Corey Webster, their leading scorer, and his brother Ty Webster. So I dare say they probably won't miss them against this Hong Kong team. Could come into play in the next one against China. Both played exceptionally well in the last window. And the bounce pass down low. Ball goes out of bounds. And it'll stay here with Hong Kong. And the pass intercepted. Tarangi hands it off to Shea Illy. And like a bolt of lightning, gets down but misses the layup. And now Hong Kong look to make New Zealand pay. They score here, that'll be a 4-point swing. He has it. Now passes over to Fong, and he misses with the jump shot. Abercrombie drives in and scores. So he's off to a good start, Abercrombie. And the pass knocked away, goes back outside. Lee has it off 1 foot, and Abercrombie skies for the rebound. And Abercrombie hits the jump shot. It's good. Another three-pointer. And Hong Kong have seen enough. Of course, they're playing without Duncan Reed, and Duncan Reed not available for this window or for this game as well. And that's a big blow. He's their biggest weapon, really, their leading scorer, their big center. So they're trying to find some other magic here. And right now, everything it seems like that Abercrombie does is working for New Zealand. Good no-look pass that time from Tarangi over to Abercrombie. And perhaps as expected, New Zealand have gotten out on top of this Hong Kong team early. Remember, they won the first game decisively. So you see Abercrombie already with 9 points and a couple of rebounds. Really with the 3 assists. Well, what do you do if you're Hong Kong? I mean, you've got to, there's certain things you got to do to have a chance to win a game like this. You got to play some defense. You want to not give away the easy ones inside, and you've got to rebound. And the other thing is you got to put the ball in the basket, and they haven't done that yet, and we're 3.5 minutes into the contest. So a very shaky start for Hong Kong. See if Coach On has had something good to say that's going to turn around their fortunes. And the drive, and immediately coming out of the timeout, the basket is good from Tsai. And the pass, and Fotu finishes. Big Isaac Fotu. So back 13-2 lead. Fong, jump shot, and this one falls through the hoop. He showed some good signs last year at the Asia Cup, as well as in the World Cup qualifiers, of being able to put the ball in the basket, but Abercrombie answers immediately. And nothing like having a big veteran coming out and just immediately grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck like Abercrombie has done. Little shimmy, little jab step. But Mika Vakona, who I checked in the game about a minute ago, didn't bite, but another jump shot falls. And Tsai now starting to find his range. Fotu. Here he is again, Fotu. And he is double teamed, but a foul, I think, was called on Fong for the reach. Isaac Fotu, one of the more enjoyable players, you have to say, to follow on Twitter. Usually has some good humor in his tweets. So checking into the game, Rob Lowe, number 14, and he comes in for Fotu. Here's Abercrombie again. Well, this time off target, but Vakona's inside. He misses with the putback, but Rob Lowe is there for the tap in. And a long jump shot off target from Tsai this time. Now Vakona. Really interesting with Jack Salt being in this team. Talked about how Vukona was a player he looked up to. And here's Rob Lowe. And obviously that's what he's known for. His ability to sit outside and stroke those threes. You got to get out and guard him if you're Hong Kong. An excellent response that time by Hong Kong to attack the basket, Lee, and he earns a trip to the free throw line. Jared Kinney also in the game. Here's Lowe. He's going to hit that shot all day. I mean, that is a layup drill for him if he's going to be that wide open. Lowe, one of the New Zealanders who played American college basketball. He played at St. Louis. And basket is good. Or the free throw is good, rather, from Lee. So Hong Kong just trying to stay within touch right now. And that one is good as well. So a good trip down the floor for Hong Kong. Now, Shea Illy back in, bringing it up. Low, open. Vukona, the rebound. And that's a nice little jump hook from the veteran. So Vukona. Vukona's been in this setup for a very long time. And now the turnover to Kinney, up to Lowe. The big fellow runs the court well, and he was fouled from behind. So he will go to the free throw line. Talking about Vukona, he played in this team all the way back at the 2005 FIBA Oceania Championship. That is a long time. There's Kinney getting the steal, and here's Rob Lowe at the free throw line. And Vukona was in that New Zealand team that played at the 2006 FIBA Basketball World Cup. And if you go back and look at his career, every year he's been with this team. Here's Rob Lowe, misses the second. Always one of the great mysteries for me is how you have such a prolific and excellent perimeter player, a shooter like Lowe, who then misses a free throw. You expect them all to go in. Natai is in the game, number 20. Kenny's going to inbound the ball, so the foul called on Hong Kong there. And Shea Illy. And the shot is good. And that was Fong. Now Lowe. He misses. Vukona reaches in, knocks it away. And Vukona right down the lane. Lays it up and in. So New Zealand well and truly on top right now, 18 points. And the tie fouls Fong, so Fong will go to the free throw line. Hong makes the first one. Hey, we got some people listening all the way over in the US of A. I think out in California. Some fans tweeting away, watching this game. This is the World Cup qualifiers. People are going to be watching. Here is Natai with the left-handed jumper. And it goes up to a 30-12 lead. That's one of the great things about the social media is you can follow all the news and information. And that was Natai with that long jump shot. Of course, you want to follow, you go to hashtag FIBA WC or This Is My House. And Hong Kong get another basket. Cut it back to 16 points, the deficit. So if you're watching this game and you want to interact with other people, you can always take to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. It's all there. And it's hashtag This Is My House. It's all about the World Cup qualifiers, bringing the national teams back to the fans so they can watch their teams at home. And it's a big event, obviously, for the players to be able to play in front of their family and friends throughout the year. So this is already the third window. Remember, we had windows back in November. We had them in February, and now this is the third window, and it will complete the first round of qualifiers around the world. Jump shot is no good.
One.
Natai, and Lowe gets the rebound. Sheili. So 42.4 seconds left in this first quarter. Jack Salt comes back into the game. So Jack Salt was talking about how it was great to be able to be in this New Zealand team and to be a teammate of the player that he looked up to while he was growing up, and that's Vakona. And here they are, both playing for the national team at the same time. That's a great story. And the drive and the basket is good. So Tsai has been a lively character, and he scores there and earns a trip to the line as well. Here, watch again, nice entry pass, and then coming in from the baseline. This is make or break time for Hong Kong. I mean, they need to get everything they can get. So the three-point play cuts that deficit back to 13 points. The tie fouled. Nari looks out. I don't think the New Zealand bench was too happy with the players giving away that last three-point play. They want to see this team be ruthless. Now there's Hanari over there on the bench. Drawing up the game plan, trying to make some adjustments perhaps. Natai makes the free throws. We're back to a 15-point lead. Now, will Hong Kong get the last shot here, or will New Zealand come up with a steal or perhaps a rebound and race down to the other end of the floor? It looks like it'll be Hong Kong. And the drive, and not good that time from Liang, who dribbles out the clock. So not good execution for Hong Kong with the last possession. They trail 32-17 after the first quarter. Well, you'd have to say things are going according to plan so far for New Zealand. They've already got a double-digit lead. And, again, it's not surprising when you look back at the first result between these two teams. Back on November 26th, they played in Hong Kong, and New Zealand, after losing at home to Korea, bounced back and won that game against Hong Kong, 133-74. So that was a big performance, and they will be looking to come out and get it done again. A big one to be in the right frame of mind as they head into their game against China. But that first game between Hong Kong and New Zealand was one of 3 games that totaled 207 points. I mean, that was one of the highest scoring games in the Asian qualifiers. And also coming in, New Zealand, coming into this window, they'd scored more points than any other team in Asia. So this is a high-scoring Tall Blacks team. They had scored 388 points, whereas Hong Kong, the only team to have given up more than 400 points, and they had actually, in their 4 games, given up 433. And as we said, that big game to New Zealand, that was their biggest blowout defeat of the 4 that they have suffered. Hong Kong also, this is how much they're up against it. They're the only team in Asia to have lost all of the 16 quarters that they have played. They've only led coming into this game for 2 minutes and 56 seconds in their 4 games. So again, this is kind of a David and Goliath matchup if you look at it in those terms. So Finn Delaney, known for his high-flying dunking theatrics, he had quite possibly one of the greatest dunks I've ever seen last year at the FIBA Asia Cup. If you want to go back and look at it, the highlights in the social media, YouTube, go to the FIBA website, FIBA.basketball or WorldCup.basketball website, or excuse me, FIBA.basketball website, and go back to the Asia Cup and look, and you will see some kind of hammer jam from Finn Delaney. It was amazing. There's a turnover. Excuse me, it was not a turnover. Tsai goes out, Liang is back in. So they're going to inbound the ball back in front of their own bench now, and 10 seconds on the shot clock. And now Natai comes up with it, but the ball, I don't think Ili was quite ready for the pass. So it was Jack Salt that got the rejection. Pick number 33. Liang. Well, that's what Liang had to do at the end of the first quarter. 3-pointer. He just dribbled out the clock. Okay, I'm not going to give him a hard time on that anymore. That's in the past. Let's look ahead to the future. Ili dumps it off. And Delaney goes up and scores with the easy left-handed layup. One shot is good. So Fong, again, we talked about him having some offense. And it's interesting how this Hong Kong team is playing without Duncan Reed. You know, you take away your number 1 player, especially inside. Everybody else has to pick it up. And, you know, to only be down right now, Hong Kong, by 13 points, that is not a bad situation for them. They're hanging in there. They can get a stop and go down and score again. Try to get to single digits perhaps, but this is where they're having a problem. They're not stopping the Tall Blacks inside. And Jack Salt goes up for an easy one, and he will go to the line as well. And he misses, but Delaney flies in, bats it over to Natai, and then Salt gets it right back. Illy for three. And Salt again with the rebound. His pass, though, knocked away by Fong. Still, there will be some time here for the Tall Blacks. Illy goes between his legs. Ball goes out of bounds and turns it right back over to Hong Kong. And long jump shot is good for Hong Kong. They're not going away, folks. 37-25, Hong Kong, remember, even though it's unlikely, still alive in the hunt for the second round. But Finn Delaney answers with a three-pointer, and that is just such a killer for Hong Kong. Try to get any type of momentum, and then a three-pointer. Nice quick move by Fong, but he doesn't make the shot. Now Brewster, who's checked into the game, number 31, has the ball. Pass ends up with Natai. He goes in from the baseline and dunks it with that right hand. Well, he's got such a good shot, you got to respect it, and he just blew right past his defender. But nice reverse layup. The riposte. And Salt goes in and misses the shot, but is fouled by Adam Zhu. Boy, that was the throwdown of the game right there. Natai says, I got something for you. Look at this. Right in the face of Lee. And what I like about Natai is, would have been understandable if he would have had a little stare down after that. Just, he did his business and ran down to the other end of the floor. Didn't try to show up his opponent. I like that. Now Salt. He goes to the line, makes that lead grow to 16 points. New Zealand's been up by as many as 18. So Salt comes out. 17-point lead, Salt with 4 points. And he's replaced by the man that he talked about, he looked up to for so many years. Now Vukona comes right in. And I think Illy is going right back to Vukona, and Vukona might have been thinking Illy was just going to put it up and in. You can understand why Illy would be throwing that pass, thinking that maybe Vukona would go up and get an alley-oop jam, but he passes over to Brewster this time. Now Vukona. Brewster, open, good! So Dion Brewster comes out and strokes the three-pointer. Now the lead is 20 points. New Zealand well on their way to the century mark today. 6 minutes to go here in the first half, and they've already got 47 points. And, well, that was kind of a crazy shot, and it fell. Wow. The lead didn't even looked like Kenny, he'd lost control of the ball. He was just going up for the shot. Then the ball bounces high off the rim and falls through the hoop. And now the turnover gives it back over to Hong Kong. Well, the foul No, there wasn't a foul there, but that was that shot. See Fotu just turn around in disgust after that ball fell through the hoop. So New Zealand went up by 20, but now it's 18, and Hong Kong with a chance to get it back to 16. And they do. Good, strong move inside by number 13, Wong Chun Wai. Brewster. Another three-pointer for Brewster. So he's put up 2 threes, and he has drilled both threes, New Zealand. Brewster. Fong, nice pump fake, but then Abercrombie had so much hang time that he was able to block the shot. Ball still ended up into the hands of Lee, but he misses from three-point range. Now Kenny over to Abercrombie. Kenny, nice pass. Vukona. Oh, Vukona missed it. Abercrombie rattles out. So a couple of looks there for New Zealand that time, not able to knock him in. New Zealand came into this game shooting over 50% from three-point range, right at 52%. And Abercrombie flies in, misses Brewster, brings it back now. And Brewster, a little bit of hang time himself, earns the trip to the line. And it looks like, is it Wong who took a shot and falls down on the hardwood. You don't want to see anybody get hurt here. So he just went right past Lee, left him for dead. Then Hong has, he caught his right elbow on the way down, right on the right cheekbone. So this game sometimes can be a little physical, and certainly the blood on the face of Wong demonstrates that. It was inadvertent, without question. Hong Kong players over there talking to the referees, but I think it's pretty obvious that there was no intent there. It's unfortunate that you see a player get hurt, though. Well, Brewster has come into the game. Remember, with Duncan Reed not available for this game, it makes it awfully difficult for this Hong Kong team inside, and now to lose Wong, their big center, that just complicates matters even more. Well, 20-point lead. And the drive, and good quick response from Hong Kong. Fotu, little jump hook. There's just nothing right now that Hong Kong can do. I mean, you got to push those guys out of the lane, not let them get positioned. Now the pass gets away into the hands of Abercrombie. He gets it to Kenny. Look at him. They're beating the defense. Oh, what a pass from Vukona to Brewster. Vukona says, I'm the pass master. That was a nice no-look. Put it on a platter for Brewster. Look at this. Vukona. No look. Thank you very much, Brewster says, and lays it up for another 2. Vukona's going to be, I would guess, a good coach one day. We will see if he goes down that road. He's such an inspirational player. Nine points for Tsai, 2 rebounds for Fong. Zhu has the 5 assists, but it's not a good situation right now for Hong Kong. They face a massive deficit already against the New Zealand team that has been led by Abercrombie, who did most of his damage in that first quarter. Brewster, meanwhile, has been doing the damage here in the second quarter. A little bit of shaking and baking in the stands. Look at that. What's going on there? There's some proud New Zealanders there supporting their national team. I'll tell you what, the bang for the buck in New Zealand in basketball, for me, they show you how you do it. This is a great basketball nation. And look at this. Nice interception. Nice steal from Jared Kinney, and they put it up. But these guys that play for the Tall Blacks, they are good, hard-working players, and they really get the most. This is not, you wouldn't say New Zealand is a huge country, but boy, have they got a great, obviously, rugby team, great basketball. And a long three-pointer over the back. Fotu with the rebound. Jared Kinney. And now Abercrombie has the ball stolen. But Lee is indeed. Now Zhu drives, passes into the corner. Lee puts up a 3. And Ruben Tarangi brings it now up the floor for the Tall Blacks. Fascinating story here as you look at Fotu driving inside. You know, Fotu, one of the guys that didn't play last year. It wasn't like these guys didn't want to play, but New Zealand just decided it was more important when they went to the FIBA Asia Cup to take some young players and to deepen their talent pool. And I think that strategy has been proven to be correct, because all these guys got valuable experience, and now they're fully ingrained into the system. Here's Jared Kinney, one of the veterans, over to Fotu. Kinney dumped it to Fotu. Are they going to say he was pushed? Yes, they are, by Lee.
Basket's waved away. His first personal foul. Substitutions both ways. Number 4, Tsai
So Vukona goes out. I've seen Rob Lowe in a while and might be coming back in eventually.
Number 33, Jack Song, all on for the FIBA Tall Blacks. Isaac Fotu, 2.
First one by Fotu is good. His brother Dan Fotu was with the team in the last window. He's a youngster, another promising player. He makes 1 of 2, and Fong gets the rebound. Bounce pass, back door, and the basket is good. So Tsai once again finds his way inside. Salt now to Shea Illy, and that time the ball just fumbled out of bounds by New Zealand. And Coach Allen just trying to, well, you have to say he's perhaps thinking, let's just try to execute a little bit better than we have been on both ends. Facing a massive deficit. Salt with the rebound. Latoa into the game. Isaac Latoa. Could very well be the smartest player on the court. Plays at Dartmouth in the Ivy League. Now home. Here he is, spinning. Look at that. He's got some good moves, doesn't he? Over to Tarangi. Good! And three-pointer, no good. Shea Illy from a long way. Oh, stays out. He almost had it, didn't he? Shea Illy trying to send the fans to the concession stands with a smile on their face. But as it is, New Zealand in command at halftime, 63-35. So you can see their shooting numbers excellent. And look at the rebounding. 24-8, and that is a lot of that is the no presence of Duncan Reed for Hong Kong. You've got 7 turnovers apiece, but the bottom line is that New Zealand right now are cruising and looking good bets to have another big win. They're easily going to get to the half-century mark today. Already 63 points. Some of the highlights from the first half. Well, 80 teams playing 88 games in this third window all over the world. Asia, Europe, got some big games today. You've got Africa. We'll be having games in this third window as well as the Americas. How about that Dominican Republic playing at Canada? Now that's going to be an interesting game. Remember, the Dominicans won the first meeting. And just all over in all the regions, you've got some fascinating games. Also in Asia today, you got China and Korea. I can't wait for that one. That is a crucial game for Korea, who, don't forget, started their World Cup qualifiers here in New Zealand and beat this New Zealand team. That was Kenny with that little reverse layup. You see those kids doing that little dance here in the arena. I think that's related to Olympic Day, which was last weekend, and the backpack boy does that famous little wiggle, and that's what we're seeing. But anyway, we're also seeing a dominating display by New Zealand here at home, as expected, in front of their home fans here in Rotorua. Cameron, Fraser McMains, helping Paul Henare, and the New Zealand Tall Blacks have come out, and they are in command at halftime. We'll be right back for the second half. Hello, everybody. We are at halftime in New Zealand. This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 Asian Qualifiers. It is the third window of the qualifiers. Let's just kind of rehash, first of all, this game. New Zealand got on top pretty early, scored the game's first 11 points, and Hong Kong did a pretty good job of keeping the lead right at 12, 13 points until about 5 minutes remained, I think it was, in the second quarter. And then New Zealand just really put on the afterburners and pulled away for a big lead. So remember, New Zealand winning the first game between these two teams in Hong Kong back in November, and they have looked dominant once again here in this second meeting. And the FIBA Basketball World Cup is going to be played next year in China. There will be 32 teams, and it is going to be a basketball extravaganza. Hong Kong, well, if they don't turn things around here pretty quickly, they will know that they are not going to make it to the second round. But make no mistake, there's no question. I mean, they were one of the huge underdogs coming into the World Cup qualifiers. They've played hard. That's all you can ask. And unfortunately today they've had to play without their star center, Duncan Reed, who wasn't available for this game. And at least they've come out and they have battled. But again, this New Zealand team, ever since that last window, in fact, probably you could go back to that first game with Hong Kong, which was their second qualifier, because in their first qualifier, the New Zealand fans will remember here in Rotorua that this New Zealand team played in Wellington and they lost at home in Wellington to Hong Kong. Look at this. This is what it is all about. This is my house. These are our fans, and this is our national team. And they are getting the opportunity of a lifetime to see the guys, the players that they have seen so many times playing on television, all over. Last year at the Asia Cup, the New Zealand team really did kind of win the hearts of the neutral fans, the way they got after it, and they went all the way to the semifinals. And now, because of the World Cup qualifiers, national teams are able to go back and play in front of their fans. And not just in the summertime, even though we're now in the summer here in June, but throughout the year. November, February. So we get a chance to see Paul Hanare, Fotu. These are guys that have just completed their club seasons, and they have come out and to play for their national teams, and then they'll get a good break for the summer. Of course, most of these players will continue to stay in shape and work out because that's how they earn their money. But at the same time, they'll get a chance to put their feet up, perhaps go to the beach, have a nice break, spend some family time, and then certainly for New Zealand's case, they're going to come back for the second round of the World Cup qualifiers, which will start in September. So this is the third window. The November window was a huge success. The February window was a huge success. And I think overall, you go all around the world. This is going to be an exciting week. In Finland, for example, where Lauri Markkanen is coming back to play for the Finns. Very, very exciting time, again, in basketball. Fotu comes out and grabs an early rebound and hands it off to Shea Illy. Now Fotu spins and gets the early foul. Zhu has to go to the bench with his fourth foul. And Shea Illy's pass intercepted by Fong. And racing to the other end. Hong Kong is Sai Cho Kwan. So that gets it back to a 63-37 lead for New Zealand. But then Shea Illy has a nice drive to the basket. And Shea misses the first one. Perhaps a little bit of jet lag. You know, he's stateside in the great state of Texas with the Mavs. Makes the second one, Shea. I would probably say out of all the Tall Blacks, his prestige has shot up more than anyone in the past year dating back to the Asia Cup. Nice bounce pass inside by Hong Kong, but ball kicks back outside to Lee, and he hits the three. How many times do we say Lee Key for the three? Oh, beautiful pass and cut. And Tarangi lays it up and in. Tarangi, talking about dunks, he had an amazing dunk as well last year. I think it was against Lebanon in the FIBA Asia Cup. What a terrific job they did putting on that Asia Cup last year, the Lebanese. That is a basketball nation. And Fong, a little bit too hard. Salt doing a good job in there, boxing out. Now inside Fotu in the low blocks, catches it. Now, Fong, they're going to say the foul was on Fotu for clearing out to get down low. It's not easy to keep that big man out of there. That's what you got to do. You got to try to keep him out. And Fong, well, they said that Fotu kind of used his I think left arm to kind of hook his defender and to back his way in there. Salt. Fong. And Fotu with the rebound. And to Salt. And he didn't make the alley-oop. Now quickly, Hong Kong answer. And then they miss. But a foul has been called. This is Illy. He thought this was going to be 2 points for New Zealand. Salt wasn't able to finish. I don't know if Salt thought that Illy was going to be putting it up himself. A couple of alley-oop passes by Illy have not led to points tonight. Passes to Vukona and Salt. I'm guessing if you had a leaping contest, that free throw gets it back to 66-41. If you had a leaping contest between Abercrombie and perhaps Finn Delaney, I bet you Abercrombie might be the best leaper in this team. Nice turn and shot from Fotu. But I'm sure Finn Delaney would welcome some type of dunking contest with Abercrombie. Nice reach, and the steal by Shea Illy, and he passes up. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a play! Tarangi turns, and this time the alley-oop pass is flushed by Salt. That is unselfish basketball right there, folks. That is some crowd-pleasing stuff. Fong, and the ball goes out of bounds. Look at this. This is Illy. This is all about sharing the basketball. Illy, Tarangi, he could have scored there, but he turns and just says, here you go, Jack. And Jack says, don't mind if I do. And the big fella throws it down with two hands. Let's have another angle. He's not going to miss that one. I mean, he put that ball up there, and there was only one way. There was only one place where that was going. That was going through the hoop. Now the ball knocked out of bounds. So New Zealand will maintain possession. Oh, fell asleep. And the ball, the inbounds goes to Fotu. You can't give that one away, folks. 72-41. was a nice looking stroke from Lee Kim Wong. One of the veterans in this team, 34 years of age. Abercrombie drills the three-pointer. Good to see Wong out there, by the way. He's got the Band-Aid on the cut that he received. Remember, he got some blood from that Brewster elbow, inadvertent elbow. Tohi Smith-Milner not dressed out tonight in the starting 12, but he's in the squad for the third window. It'll be interesting to see if he plays against China. And a little bit of a push. Oh, look at that, no look. And again to Abercrombie. New Zealand very keen today. I mean, going for their fourth consecutive win in the qualifiers. Abercrombie, another three-pointer. Well, he's just pouring in the points, isn't he? I mean, he is just like, just give me the rock. Abercrombie gets the rebound. Abercrombie with 18 points, and this time it's Fotu. Takes this tally to 15 for the game, midway through the third quarter. Now the referee tells Vakona, don't interfere with the ball when it goes through the hoop. Chalk up that assist, I think, to Tarangi. Lee with a little spin move shot. Well, instant offense, Lee Key. Here's Abercrombie talking about instant offense. And misses, doesn't finish. Fong. And Fotu with another rebound. Fotu already with 5 rebounds. There's Vakona catching that ball. Oh, now he's going to be called for an offensive foul. Is that coming over the back? Is what they're saying on Fong. I'll tell you, anything you say about Fong, you have to say he's a hard worker. They're a little bit overmatched out here against New Zealand, but he really gives his all for Hong Kong. Here's Fong, comes back. Oh, well, I'm not seeing that at all. That's a tough call on Vakona. But when you're leading 80-46, you're not going to argue too much about it. And now Vakona a little bit annoyed with that call as well. Called for the block. Benari might want to get him out of the game, let him simmer down a little bit. But sometimes the calls don't go your way. They will always even out over the course of the game, almost always. Nice drive inside, but not able to finish was Lam. Ho Kwong. Tarangi, oh, beautiful shimmy, and Fotu doesn't finish. Vakona keeps it alive. Getting it back to Tarangi. Kenny for 3. Jared Kenny will take it. That's from three-point land today. New Zealand not too bad, living up to their reputation of being able to drill the threes. That's Kenny's first make. They are now 11 of 19 as a team. 57.89%. So their three-point shooting numbers have actually gone up. And the drive and the miss. Now Vakona, look at it, he's on the break. Crosses midcourt. And the ball goes back to Natai. Ooh. Nobody was expecting Tarangi's pass except Hong Kong. Liang takes it back out. We've seen him knock in a three. Maybe he's going to put up another one. That's going to be Fong for the very long two. And he drills it. Fong is on song. He has got 10 points. Just 4-14 from the floor, however. Fotu, he scores. Now goes up to 17 points. And drive, and Fotu with the rebound. Natai, good! Oh, he just plays within himself, doesn't he? He doesn't force anything. He knows the green light is there if he's going to catch that ball out in the perimeter, and he buries it and forces the timeout from Hong Kong. Look at this. Wide open and drills it. Well, folks, if you're wondering about a good place to spend a holiday, I can highly recommend New Zealand. This is an amazing country. Look at that, 33 rebounds, 24 on the defensive glass, 9 on the offensive. They're just owning the boards, and that doesn't come as a surprise. So Hong Kong, their next game will be against Korea. But I will always certainly have only good things to say about New Zealand. Having traveled here in this country many years ago, backpacking, and I'll tell you, the only thing nicer than this incredible, beautiful scenery and wonderful land of New Zealand are the people. They are fantastic hosts, and today they're hosting a great game here for their fans against Hong Kong. 88-48 is the lead for New Zealand. Here's Fong. And jump shot is good right at the buzzer from Lam. Ho Kwang. Oh, nice. Coming right out and drilling it for New Zealand was Shea Illy. Short little jumper. Been relatively quiet offensively tonight. But they have 90 points. There's Rob Lowe with the rebound. I dare say that New Zealand know that a very tough game awaits in their next one against China in Auckland. That will not be one that you want to miss. There's Natai again! Well, just like jump shooting practice, those guys just make it look so easy. I mean, they are just on fire from three-point range in these World Cup qualifiers. They are now 13 of 21 from deep in this game. And right at the end of the quarter, did they get it off in time? Again, Liang holding on to it a little bit too long at the end of the quarter. And it's 93-50, New Zealand with 10 minutes remaining. So the shooting numbers for both teams, I mean, you're going to look at these statistics and everything is going to be better for New Zealand, but not only do they have the size advantage inside, 22 of 28, a lot of those baskets coming in the paint, but they're 13 of 21 from three-point range, and that's just awfully difficult to combat. You've got to get out and get a hand in the face. But that's when they will pass it inside to guys like Fotu. So it's kind of like pick your poison. Do you clog up the paint? I mean, what you definitely can't do is give away transition baskets. So you got to get back on defense. And again, Abercrombie, one of the guys that has come out and just said, you know what, I'm going to make this my own little three-point shooting show. He is 5 of 6 from three-point range today. Prewster has hit both of his. Ruben Tarangi has hit his. Jordan Natai has hit 2 of 3. So probably the only players that we're not going to see launch threes today, I would imagine, would be Salt. Probably Fotu. Still, neither of those guys have put one up. We haven't seen Latoa put one up, but I know that he can drill it. He's only played a minute and 19 seconds. We know Rob Lowe can hit it. He's already hit one. He's 1 of 3. Shea Illy, surprisingly, is of the players that have logged significant minutes that you would expect to hit a three-pointer. He hasn't. He's 0 for 4 today. So he has not worn his shooting shoes today. Here is Latoa checking back into the game. So it's Latoa, Lowe, Vicona, Jordan Natai, Lowe, Shea Illy. Here's Illy, step back. Jordan Natai with the rebound. Okay, see if they can find Latoa. Oh, Natai wide open. Doesn't hit it this time. And foul call down low. Well, there's different ways you can follow the World Cup qualifiers. You go to worldcup.basketball, and then they have various sections there. We can go to the various qualifiers, be it here in Asia, Europe, different sites for the Americas, Africa, all of them loaded with information and statistics. And you can also load the FIBA Basketball World Cup app, and that will have all the information as well that you need. So if you're out and about, say you're out in the country doing some farming, or you're on the underground, perhaps in a big city, or you're going for a nice cycle and you're wondering what the latest scores are, you can have your smartphone and check out the FIBA Basketball World Cup app, and it'll give you the latest information. When I said farming, I'm thinking like a tractor or something. Okay, here we go. Here is Tarangi. Illy had his man off his feet. So New Zealand should very shortly be at the century mark today, and it'll be the second time they have hit the century mark against Hong Kong. Here's Latoa. Of course, they've got a great national basketball league here in New Zealand, but also New Zealand have the team in Auckland that plays in the Australian National Basketball League. So nice bounce pass inside over to Fong, and hits the jump shot. So he's done his part tonight. Illy drifts in. Here's Latoa for 3. Good! Told you. It was only a matter of time. Got a couple of Isaacs out there. Isaac Latoa, Isaac Fotu. Isaac Fotu's on the bench right now. Boy, he had a good World Cup in 2014, didn't he? Isaac Fotu. And now in the tie with the rebound. Oh, goes behind the back. Seen some skillful play today from the tie. Look at Isaac Latoa. A little bit of razzle-dazzle. I tell you what, talking about selection headaches, Paul Henare has got a headache because he has got a lot of good players, and he's got to get down to 12 every game. And when you've got players like Latoa who are just starting to really come onto the scene, it's tough. You know, who do you pick for that 12? There's Lowe over to Latoa, who's got all the moves, doesn't he? Finn Delaney now in, and he hits a three-pointer. (99-52), and Delaney has hit his second three, and 15 of 25. You know, my advice to New Zealand right now is you might want to save a few of these threes for the China game that's coming up. Your second game in this window. Oh, Lee, nice riposte from Lee. I think Illy was the player that flew past him. Look at Lee. Nice stroke. Well, this is a nice arena here in Rotorua. And that was his second foul, by the way. Now Illy reaches in and commits the foul.
Pushing foul under the 5, Shea Illy. His second personal foul. Substitution.
There's substitution. So Brewster back into the game. He's made the most of his minutes tonight. Brewster, just under 7 minutes, has already scored 9 points. So I would expect him to get to double digits before this is over. One more point, and New Zealand are at the century mark. Here's Brewster. Decides to go ahead, and I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to take us to the 100 mark. It's 101-55, and Brewster has 11 points. And the bump and the foul. Long makes the first one. Hong Kong with it. Nope. Now it's going to be Latoa with the steal. Back over to Natai. Rob Lowe puts up a three. And another three-pointer for New Zealand, 104-57. They are cruising. They've actually could end up doubling up Hong Kong at this pace. They've almost doubled them up. Fong puts up a three. Well, not if he stays out there. Not if he's got anything to do with it. And Fong's going to leave with decent numbers today. 14 points, now 17 points with that three. That was his first three. Rob Lowe answers. 17 of 28 from three-point range or New Zealand. And I think it bears repeating. It's worth repeating that as you see Lowe's numbers today, 12 points, and he's hit 3 threes. New Zealand might want to save a few of these threes for their next game against China, which, remember, New Zealand know they're going to advance to the second round, but every win is important as they try to advance to that next, as they try to advance to the World Cup. So it's not a matter of just clinching, your spot in the next round. You need to carry your wins over. You need to take as many as you can. See the timeouts left for both teams. What are those guys joking around about out there? See, Pollinari wants to see some execution. Well, Fong is, without question, I think, the most effective player. Although Tsai has 14 points for Hong Kong. And good follow and put back by Rob Lowe, and he will also go to the line for a potential three-point play. 5 minutes remaining. New Zealand with 109 points, and I'm wondering if they'll be able to match the first result, 133. So can they score another 23 points over in basically 5 minutes? Well, they certainly can do it. Whether they will do it, that's another matter. We shall see. Delaney guarding Fong. Hand it off. And nice jump shot by number 17, Lam. Ho Kwong. Here's Finn Delaney. I told you he was a high flyer. And he just kind of glides in and lays it off the glass. Oh, and the rejection. Do not bring that in here. This is my house. Now Brewster over to Lowe. And Lowe lowers the boom. 115 to 62. Credit Natai for that big-time rejection. Fong unsuccessful on that occasion. Latoa over to Delaney, spins, lays it up, and draws the foul from Ching Cam Hing. Well, it might have been, he was flirting with a foul there because there was definitely some body. So perhaps a little bit unlucky there for Hong Kong, but look at Lowe, he's gone over to the bench. He's a happy man. Tell you what, talking about efficiency and making the most of your minutes. Rob Lowe has played 12 minutes, 15 seconds and has 18 points. Delaney, meanwhile, you see he's having himself a nice day as well. I mean, everybody in New Zealand's having a nice day. Delaney with 13 points in just 10 minutes. Oh, Latoa, what a beautiful pass! And Delaney, the beneficiary. Boy, I've seen enough. Latoa is a talent. He dazzles and he makes it look simple. I like it. The Ivy Leaguer. Oh, and another rejection, this time from the Wahoo, Salt. Look at that pass from Latoa. And then the Duncan Delaney takes center stage once again.
The basket counts.
Good score here for Hong Kong. And a three-point play opportunity now for Tsai.
There's foul on number 3, Finn Delaney, his second personal foul.
Yeah, if you go, talking about the Duncan Delaney, if you go back, you go to YouTube, FIBA, and look for New Zealand's Finn Delaney posterizing Korea's Jong-Young Lee. And that is one of the best dunks ever at a FIBA Asia Cup, without question. Nice pass, and this time the tie gets another chance to show his elevation. Lee. And Delaney with the rebound. Well, can they get 12 points? Oh, don't look at that score, folks. That's not right. There it is. I don't know what happened there. It's like a gremlin in the system. Look at Salt. And then to Natai, the alley-oop. And I'll tell you what, Natai can fly. Look at that. Hashtag FIBA WC on the rim. And now Salt shows that nice stroke he's got at the free throw line. There is much to like about the Tall Blacks, folks. This will be a team to be reckoned with, I think, in the rest of these World Cup qualifiers. Delaney with the rebound. Now Latoa. Salt. And Salt scores with the left hand, 124-65. Salt, look at him, handling the ball, the big fella. Brewster puts it on the deck, over to Salt, and follows up his miss. Salt gets it over to Natai. Delaney, get to Brewster. No, he's gonna go in, oh, he's gonna miss it. I've been building him up, and then he missed it. But Brewster, he catches off the back of the rim. Oh, Duncan Delaney did not bring the delight that time for the Tall Blacks. He definitely had an open lane and just simply did not finish. Long one right at the buzzer. And Isaac Latoa now calls the play. Salt. There's Latoa off 1 foot. Salt flies in, misses. And the game gets a little sloppy here. The turnover, and now to Latoa. So I think it's safe to say New Zealand are not going to reach their 133 now from the first game, but they're going to walk off the court convincing winners. This one was never really in doubt, was it? Delaney for 3. It's going to be interesting to see the next roster, or the next 12 that Henare selects for that game against China. And Delaney rebounds it, so that's how it's going to finish up, folks. New Zealand roll to a 124-65 win over Hong Kong. They improved to 4-1 in the World Cup qualifiers. And Hong Kong dropped to 0-5. So New Zealand will remain at the top of Group A. Of course, China will play Korea next in this group. That'll be coming up shortly, in the next couple of hours. Well, so far so good for New Zealand in this third window. They have come out and, as expected, taking care of business here at home in Rotorua against Hong Kong. They cruised past Hong Kong with a lot of sharing the basketball. They were, quite frankly, they just overmatched them. They were just too good for Hong Kong. There's just so many people hitting in double digits tonight for New Zealand, and we will go over that shortly. Here, look at the game stats as the teams. New Zealand 28 of 40 inside the arc, 18 of 30 from deep. And if you're going to say they struggled, maybe at the free throw line, but it's kind of irrelevant in a game like this. Rebounding wise, I mean, it was just sheer domination. 50 to 14. And just overall, just a wonderful outing here for the home fans and for the home team. Abercrombie amongst those, the top scorers with 18 points, 7 rebounds for Viconi. See, Illy was wheeling and dealing and dishing it. And as well as Hong Kong, well, Tsai and Fong each with 14 points. It was Abercrombie and Lowe each with 18 points, and Fotu had the 17 points for New Zealand. There you are, the standings, and China-Korea will be playing again shortly. That'll be tipping off, and so you want to keep an eye on that. That game will be played in China. China, of course, will be one of the 32 teams at the World Cup as the host nation, but they will also be in the second round here of these qualifiers. And I think it's worth repeating as you see the sights, the highlights, the fans. Perhaps more than anything, this is about the fans having a chance to watch their national team play. There will be tougher games for New Zealand, but for them to have a chance to come out and watch them in action against Hong Kong has been a wonderful way to spend their day here in Rotorua. There's going to be some kids that have come out to watch the game tonight, and they'll be thinking to themselves, I'd like to play for the Tall Blacks one day. That's what you have to think about when you think about having these World Cup qualifiers at home. Just more chances for the kids to see their players, their heroes. There's Rob Lowe, highlights. You're going to see a lot of the pluses. There's Delaney. He didn't miss that dunk, did he? I'm guessing he will probably hear a little bit about missing that dunk. That later dunk, rather. This is a dunk that Salt did not miss, and that was all about Tarangi sharing the basketball. 124 to 65. It was a real smash and grab raid here by New Zealand. Abercrombie with the 18, Lowe with the 18 points, Fotu with the 17, Delaney with the 15 points, Jordan Natai 14, Dion Brewster with the 11. For Hong Kong, again, I thought Fong, he was 6 of 17 from the floor, 5 of 16 inside the arc. He was perfect at the line, 4-4. And that was the miss from Delaney. Still can't get over that. Fong had the 17 points, and Sai Cho Kwan had 17, and Lee Ki had the 10. So that's it, folks. A lot more coming your way of the World Cup qualifiers. We're off and running. Be sure to tune in wherever you are, whether it's Asia, Europe, Africa, or the Americas. A lot of action coming your way as teams try to make it to the 32-team World Cup next year in China. Signing off from Rotorua.